What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, September 23rd to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on odds.com, the odds headquarters. We have 15 MLB games to cap, Eastern Conference Finals Game 4 and Stanley Cup Finals Game 3. A good-looking card, no doubleheaders. So all 9-inning games in MLB. We have Nolly Knows joining us, and I'm refreshed and ready to rock. I have missed you guys. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got cash action bets ready to get to work. Nasty Nate, not happy with those Lakers. Jose Martinez ready to go. Says, I need a bigger parlay today. Barry Smith. Great to see Barry Smith. Oh, no. Oh, no, dude, 22 losing tickets on my hardwood floor. At least you got hardwood. Hey, Barry, at least you got hardwood. At least you don't have that stanky carpet. Buznut721 ready to go. Mitch Bruner in the house. Elliot V says, Lakers ruined my two-team parlay. The Yankees super run line. Yeah, the Lakers didn't show up. Didn't show up. And, you know, if you think that NBA is scripted and all that stuff, which I don't, well, then the Lakers will win Game 4, and the Nuggets will be facing a 3-1 deficit for the third series in a row. Xavier Oliver, Alexei Popovich ready to go. Johnny K, Hustle Wilson, Mr. Wisdom. We got Slats 45 in action. Ooh, 3-0 once again. Yanks -1.5. First 5 in team total. Beautiful. Exact same bets today with Lightning 3-way. I'm on Lightning -1 at +106. I understand why you'd be on Lightning 3-way. I think there are some injuries now with Dallas, and then what we've seen is that last 15 minutes of the third, when Dallas had to attack, they mustered, 2 shots on goal? And I think that bodes well for the Lightning in Game 3. I'm not saying I'm going to back them all the way through the rest of the series. Von Polo says, feels good to be back. Great to see you, Von Polo, my guy. Von Polo, my guy, and Bengals money line for Von Polo. Looking to get paid in full. LT says, where are you guys being? Yes, sorry about not being able to do yesterday's Betting with the Bag. But we're back in action. I did the football show last night. So unlike the week previously, I only locked in 4 bets, but I'm so close to going against market moves. I'm just waiting to see how hard the public hits some of these spots, and then I will be fading them. Jeffrey Murname, Ralph Porwando. Nice to see Ralph Porwando. We don't get him enough in the show. James SQ, ready to go. Chili Dog Dooley, ready to eat. Christian Rivas, Big Franco, Birdie, ready to go. DJ Green says Celtics get the W today. I already locked in an NBA bet. I already locked in the first quarter under 52.5. And I came close to betting the Celtics, but I could not hit the button. Did not hit the button. Christian Rivas had Denver money line yesterday. Beautiful. Was the only one in the sportsbook lobby, it seemed like. Had to leave. Jason Lowry, cash action taking Stars money line. Some injuries are creeping in for the Stars. And the Lightning getting those 2 power play goals was enormous. I'm not saying that Lightning are going to even win the Stanley Cup at this point. I'm not going to go that far ahead, but I'm going to say that I think that they win Game 3. That's what I think will happen. All righty, let's get to work. There's Nilo in the house. Dutch Boy Fresh says Nuggets got more heart than any team I can remember. Malone has definitely got some stripes this bubble. No doubt, Dutch Boy Fresh. Very, 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 very impressive. Jose Martinez says Bengals get their first win this week. You know, when we close this show, we'll go over my looks or my bets. I made 4 bets, and then what I want, what I'm close to making moves on as well. All right, let's get to work. Let's bring in our MLB expert, a man we love very much, a man making unders great again. Please welcome to the show, Nolly Knows in the house. Nolly, how are you, my man?
Jimmy, what's going on, man? It's always a pleasure to be here with you in the chat, man. I'm really happy. Coming off a really nice day, getting a lot of unders in the game, so I'm really happy right now.
I've made 2 moves, and the total has gone against me in the Cardinals Royals, and I think I was just a bias against Carlos Martinez and Danny Duffy, and Duffy screwed me last week, and I just see that Nottingham home run grand slam over and over in my head, and maybe I rushed into that last night and probably should have slept on it. I'm also on the Reds -1, Bauer on 3 days rest, which I'm questioning now, but But let's go through this 15-game card with Nolly Knows, see what additions, and, if we want to make a move, we can change it. Nilo's saying that 49ers total down to 41. I think it keeps going down, Nilo, and I think it's a sneaky over. You're getting a lot of love on your hoodie. Nolly, my man, let's get to work right now. We are going to open up with Angels Padres. Let's get everything set up here. We're going to go over market moves and analysis. Let's get to work. Jaime Barria versus Clevenger. Padres open up at minus 185. At Bet365, they're now minus 180. This total was initially juiced to the over 8.5. It is now juiced to the under 8.5. San Diego 21-10 at home. Angels 9-16 on the road. 78 Fahrenheit clear. 10 miles per hour is the wind sideways in. Both teams hit righties hard. Both teams bullpens. Actually, Angels bullpen has not been as good of late. Whip has been nice, but they're still allowing runs. Padres bullpen has improved throughout the year as we thought they would after that terrible beginning and the injuries and dealing with all that. Cash action bets already wanting to make a move on the Angels plus 1.5. Padres have clinched number 2 playoff berth in the NL West, but they're still playing for that number 4 seed. Home field advantage in the first round. Their magic number for the 4 is 2. Padres have lost 4 of their last 6 at home. Clevenger dealt with bicep soreness after his last start, so they gave him an extra day. He's 2-1 with a 3 ERA and 3 starts since being acquired by Cleveland. Most recent outing, he looked good. 2 hits in a 7-inning complete game in the first half of a doubleheader against the Giants on September 18th. They have Hosmer, Pham, and Austin Adams back. So Hosmer, first baseman, Pham, outfielder. Adams coming back to the bullpen. The Angels have been better. They're 25 and 31 right now. They have the slimmest of playoff hopes. They moved past Seattle in the 3rd in the American League West, but they trail Houston for 2nd in the division and Toronto for 8th in the final berth, each by 3.5 games with 4 games remaining. So very unlikely. Jaime's been great. 214 opponents batting average. Last out he went 6 in the 3rd, allowing 2 earned runs, 6 hits, 8 Ks. Is he and the Angels a live dog here? Nolly Knows, take it away, Angels Padres.
Yeah, this is a somewhat difficult game to kind of get a read on. You got the Angels who are somewhat still in it, but not really. And the big news yesterday comes in. Simmons decides to opt out, decides to pack up and go team. And what kind of signal does that send to the rest of the team? Really, that they're pretty much out of it, and he knows it. And he's in the contract year, so he met his requirements, so he decided to pack up and leave. And the interesting thing is now is like pretty much the Padres are pretty much settled into the 4th spot. So how much incentive do they have to go out there and keep winning? That's a concern. And the other thing is how are they going to do? How are they going to go about setting up these lineups? Are they going to play everybody? Or are they not? And that's something that they have to balance. And that's something that the manager himself said. He goes, there certainly will be a little bit of balance, doing the best you can to keep everybody healthy, also respecting the rhythm and timing that need to go on at the plate in all areas of the game. I quote Vince Scully also. He says, if you don't play, you can't play. So if you rest your guys, it might be a disadvantage going to the playoffs. That's something that you don't want. So I don't know how to really adjust for that. So I'm just going to be looking at these pitchers. And for Clevenger, there is a little bit of skepticism here with the bicep tightness. Like you said, skipped his last start, but coach says he looks good. He threw a bullpen, looked really well. And for me, I think he's going to be ready to try to come out and pitch well. There's a postseason spot that he's trying to chase right here. So I expect him to do well. And on the other side, like you said, Jaime Barria, he looked really good. Just 24 years old, 3rd year in the majors already. And this is one of the bright spots for the Angels pitching going forward. And his numbers look really, really well. I expect him to pitch really well here against San Diego, a team that really hasn't been putting up really runs. And I'm going to do what I always do, take the first 5 under. I was able to cash this yesterday, and I expect it to cash again. Getting a lot of strikeouts from these Padres right now. The bats are really not what they were, and they haven't hit a grand slam in a long time. So I'm looking to take the first 5 under here.
First 5 under, I mean, I can completely understand it with the guys on the mound. The issue, the only fear I have, and you're right with the Padres not being hot, is how hard they each hit righties. Padres hit righties 268, 19 OPS. Angels hit righties 252, 785 OPS. The wind is nice for these pitchers sideways in. You're getting a 4.5 juice to the over. Huh. Very, very interesting. First 5 under. What did you get on the first 5 under?
I got the 4.5, but I don't remember the juice here. I'd have to look all that up. I kind of shut down that window.
No worries. No worries. I'm sure you got a nice price because this is it's minus 120 to the over. Huh. Very, very interesting. Angels, Padres, a first 5 under right now for Nolly Knows to get on the board. And I get it. First 5 under 4.5. Do you think the Angels are a live dog in this fight?
That's initially what my thought was last night when I was looking over the card. And then as I'm going over that game is when I hear the news. I was watching the Dodger game and that popped up. I see it on the bottom of the screen on ESPN. And that's a concern for me. How are they going to come out? But, I mean, you got the best player in the game, arguably, in Mike Trout. I'm sure he'll do well. But as a team, I think that sends the wrong message. That's what makes it hard for me to back them right now.
Yeah. No, you're right. All right. Okay. We are on the board by Nolly Knows, a first 5 under 4.5 in Angels, Padres, and I'm a little hesitant. I do think. What do you think about Clevenger with the extra rest coming off this bicep soreness? Does that play into anything that would involved in your capping here?
Well, that was a concern, so I started to dig a little bit and just hearing what they're saying. I didn't find anything that Clevenger himself said, but everything that I hear is from the coaches and mainly the manager, and he likes what he sees out of him. And the main thing is, like, they're not going to – if any sign of trouble, I believe they'll yank him, so that's a good thing for us right here. And they're getting Matt Strahm back in their bullpen. That's a big, big addition, and I'll expect him to go today. Being back, they're going to throw him right in there, so I like him coming out. And so those are a couple of things that I do consider. But even if he doesn't go too long, I'll rely on that Padres bullpen.
All righty. Let's move on to Phillies, Nationals. I'm going to stay off that first 5 under 4.5, but I understand why you are making the move. Let's move on to Phillies, Nationals, Eflin, Fedde. Total opens up at 8. Shoots all the way up to 9.5. Wow. Phillies open up at minus 130. And they've taken 20 cents at Bet365 to minus 150. Minus 150. 74 Fahrenheit clear, 7 miles per hour. Sideways in is the weather. Eflin 3-2, 4.28 ERA, 1.37 whip, 61 Ks in 48 and a third. 61 Ks, 13 walks, 7 home runs allowed. Fedde 2-3, 4.36 ERA, 1.45 whip. Still not getting Ks. Still walking too many batters. That K to walk rate, atrocious. 23 Ks, 21 walks, 8 home runs allowed. But coming off a good start. Very good. Tossed 6 scoreless innings on the road against Miami. 1 hit, struck out 6, and walked 2. Nats are going for the 4-game sweep. This Phillies bullpen, 7.21 ERA, 1.84 whip, still hurting them badly. Phillies versus righties, 254, 760 OPS. Nats versus righties, 253, 731 OPS. And Fedde's career, 2-3, 5.57 ERA against the Phillies. 6 starts. Phillies lost 4 in a row. Workman allowing that walk-off 2-run home run to Yadiel Hernandez, his first ever home run in the bigs. Harper has not looked good lately, 0-5 yesterday, batting 247. Real Muto still looks hurt. He missed 11 games with a hip injury. He still looks like he's grimacing all the time. And Eflin 3-3, 4.43 ERA and 8 career starts against the Nationals. 4-game sweep in order here for the Nats, or you think these Phillies deserve to be road favorites?
This is a tricky game. You know, keep looking at the Phillies, and I think of our guy, Prince of the City, every time now. You know, I took the Phillies the other day, and sure enough, I thought I had the pitching advantage, and they haven't been able to do anything. They're really sputtering right now, haven't been able to do much. Bryce Harper himself not doing a lot, and you got Real Moto just came back from the IL, so trying to get acclimated. And you know, Bryce Harper is saying no excuses. We got to get the job done. We got to get W's, but they haven't been able to do it. So even if I see a pitching advantage that I see here today, I'm not going to take it. There's no way that I can take these Phillies. The bats are not looking good, and Eric Fedde is a guy that I want to fade, and he's coming off his 2 best starts of the year. 6 innings pitched, just 1 hit against the Miami Marlins, a surprise to me. And then Eflin, Eflin's pretty much going to give up a few runs. Just how many? You know what I mean? Is it going to be 3 or is it going to be 8? That's the one thing for me. This is a game I'm just going to pass on. I don't really like it. Maybe look at the Nats to sweep, but other than that, I'm going to stay off.
Yeah. How do you back Fetty even after this nice start? Do you think Fetty's turned it around? Is it possible that Fetty's turned it around and the Nats? I mean, are people just betting the Phillies because they don't expect this Nats team to sweep?
Well, that's something that a lot of people have done, especially over the last few years. It seems like more and more everybody tries to avoid the sweep. So if you look at the percentage of sweeps that happen across the board, the percentage is very, very low. So if you attack that every single time, it will be profitable, but not really an angle that I like to look at. So maybe that's the thing. But, I mean, with Fetty, it's not necessarily that he turned it around. He just was able to throw a lot more strikes. And he mentioned it himself. He was able to get the ball inside and outside, open up the strike zone and keep the batters guessing. Something he wasn't able to do in a lot of his starts. So he feels he's a lot better off. But then the other thing is the Phillies bullpen, you know, one of the worst in history. And that's just not a team I want to back.
No, I get it. I absolutely get it. We have Cappers in the chat making moves on these Nats right now. Cash Action says, I do believe Nats will be my big play of the day. Nats will be my big play of the day. CT basing Nats all day. Phillies crushing losses and leaky pen. I find this tricky. I find this a tricky spot. Baseball has been tough for me of late. Looks like I'm not going to make a move. Either is Nolly Knows here in Phillies Nats. But Alexei Popovich's Nats are hot. Phillies hot trash. I don't want to show up late to the party when everyone's cashing these big numbers on the Nats, but it would be Nats or no play for me. Great Cappers here rolling with us. We got CT Base as Nationals to play. Nice dog. Wish I won on them all series, but I want to win today. Alexei Popovich, Robert Allen, Dylan Turner, Brightware, Stephen Dunn, Maxwell Smart, Tony Mang, Sonny G, Juan Juarez, Jin Rummy, Anthony Cook, Jason Folk. Great group. Dylan Turner, Chili Dog Dooley. All right. Let's keep rolling. We've only made one play here on the show, and that's Nolly Knows on the first 5 under 4.5 in the Angels Padres. Let's move on to our next spot here. Rangers, Diamondbacks, roof closed in Rangers, Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks opened up at minus 155. They're now at minus 160. This total opened up at 9.5, and a few books have moved it to 10. Wes Benjamin, Alex Young, battle of lefties. Benjamin, 4.41 ERA, 1.29 whip, 17K, 16 and a third. Alex Young, 2-4, 5.44 ERA, 1.40 whip, 11 home runs allowed in 41 and a third, but neither of these teams hit lefties. Rangers, 222, 645 against lefties. Diamondbacks, 223, 627 versus lefties. Both bullpens vulnerable. Diamondbacks beat the Rangers 7-0 yesterday. The Diamondbacks get Ketel Marte back. He is a big piece of the puzzle for this squad. They've won 4 of 7. Young's looked bad. 6 runs, 8 hits over 2 2/3 last out. He's dropped 4 of his last 5. Rangers have lost 5 of 6 yesterday in that 7-0 loss. Eli White goes 3 for 4. Sam Huff goes 2 for 4. Rest of the lineup 1 for 24. That's how poor they've looked. 1 for 24. Rangers, Diamondbacks. Nolly, you making a move here?
Yeah, this is a tough game for me to even look at. These are two teams in the bottom of the barrel, probably just competing for the number 1 overall pick at this point. And it's kind of sad to see with the Diamondbacks because they were actually in contention. They were above 500. They were playing decent ball, and at the trade deadline, they decided to sell. And ever since then, they've been going downhill. And so it's a tough game for me to sit here and back. But if anything, to be honest, I see Wes Benjamin is actually the better pitcher here. He's had a decent September with a 3.27 ERA, looking a lot better than on the other side of Alex Young. In the same month, 6.38 ERA, not looking very good. But when I look at this Texas Rangers bats, they've been awful all year. They continue to do so. They got shut out last night. So not a team that I'm looking to back here, and not pitchers that I'm really looking to trust much. I was looking at an angle, try to take a first 5 under here, but I'm not willing to trust Alex Young or Wes Benjamin to that extent. So I'm just going to stay off here.
Yeah, I'd prefer to back Benjamin over Alex Young, but these bats just can't be trusted for Texas. You just don't want to be sitting there needing a run or needing any offense from this squad. And two bad baseball teams playing out the string. I don't know if either manager, Woodward or Lovello, will be back next year. All right, let's keep rolling. We move on to a Nolly Knows classic pitching matchup here in Giolito versus Bieber. White Sox versus Indians. Bieber and the Indians open up at -150 at Bet365, now -160. This total was originally juiced to the over 7. It's now juiced to the under 7. Jason Folk, by the way, saying D-backs and juice hard to mix. Yeah, D-backs is favorites. The whole spot is uncomfortable. Toro Capital says this is a Nolly classic. Giolito 3.53 ERA, 1.03 WHIP. Bieber 8-1, 1.74 ERA, 0.86 WHIP. White Sox versus righties 260, 762 OPS. Indians versus righties 228, 690 OPS. White Sox and Indians bullpen both strong. Indians win yesterday 5-3, 3-run 10th inning bomb by Ramirez, 6 homer in 6 games, 12th homer in his last 24 games, 7-game hitting streak where he's batting .500 with 16 RBIs. Indians have won 5 of their last 6 and 6 of their last 8 with the White Sox. They're 3 games back of the White Sox. The Twins are breathing down the White Sox neck. Bieber will be back in action. He had his start pushed back a day so that it would be in line with the Game 1 of the AL Wildcard Series next Tuesday. Bieber, AL Cy Young Award winner, looks like. Carried a shutout into the 8th inning last out. Struck out 10 batters in Cleveland's 10-3 win over Detroit. He's found at least 8 in all 11 of his starts, 2-2 with a 3.27 ERA and 7 career starts against Chicago. White Sox have lost 3 straight. Giolito, a couple no decisions against Cleveland this year. 2-2, 2.56 ERA and 6 career starts versus the Indians. Lindor and Ramirez get to him, but he has got nice numbers against everybody else. Take it away. Nolly Knows. Giolito Bieber.
Yeah, Jimmy. I mean, you know me. I love the starting pitching. So I'm looking at this game right away. You look at Giolito, what he's been able to do against these Indians. 2 games this year, 1.38 ERA, 13 innings pitched, just 2 runs, and in 2019 as well, 2 starts, didn't give up a single run in 14 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 17 Ks in those 14 innings, and just 3 walks. He feels really confident going into this game, and something that he talked about when interviewing is talking about how satisfied they are making the playoffs, but that's not where it ends. They're looking to chase the World Series, and I mean they've got the bats and they've got some decent pitching, so I can't knock him there. And he's going against arguably the best pitcher in baseball this year, and that's Shane Bieber. But he's actually had the worst month of his year, like a 3 ERA, I believe, 3.20 ERA, which says a lot because his total ERA is still at 1.74, 0.086 WHIP. The guy's been amazing. A lot of swing and misses and balls straight in the dirt, so you can see how nasty his stuff really is. And the one thing with Bieber, he can't get hit, but he get pushed back for that wild card game, like you said, and I expect that to help him out here. And I expect him to continue what he does here against these White Sox. This is a tough game to take. You got to really consider everything going on. What am I going to expect out of these Indians, being that they clinched yesterday? Like you said, Ramirez is red hot. He hits that walk-off, very fitting yesterday to clinch it for them. And Lindor hits Giolito well. But here in this spot, the way that these teams still want to win, you got still a 3-game lead by these White Sox, so it's still not completely done. I expect it to be somewhat like a playoff atmosphere, and with the 3.5, I'm going to take that. And then if you look at Shane Bieber, he's had at least 8 Ks in each one of his starts. So, I mean, everybody's been taking the K props, but I'm sure they're juiced to the max now. But something you might want to consider. But I'm on the first 5 under 3.5.
First 5 under 3.5, 73 Fahrenheit, 5 miles per hour in is the wind. 80 proof TV on the Sox Indians, no runs in the first. Jim Rummy's fair line is the White Sox at plus 145. Mr. Gokster on White Sox first 5. G-Sauce says too much value on my White Sox not to take them. If there's any team that can expose Bieber, it's the White Sox. Give me that plus 160. Give me that plus 160. Yeah, the Indians are another team that you sweat out every bet with them, except when they play the Tigers and generally when Bieber's on the mound. So you see Bieber regressing slightly back to the mean?
Yeah, I thought he still pitched well against the White Sox. He gave up 3 runs on just 4 hits. 2 of them happened to be home run. It's something that you got to be careful with these White Sox, but it's something that he's well aware of, and that's still something that he's going to work on. Being his last start of the season, I expect the solid starters, to have good outings. They're not taking a day off. They're getting ready for the playoffs.
Nolly Knows, second, first 5 under. This one's at 3.5. White Sox, Indians, first 5 under, 3.5. I'm still not on the board with these early games on the card. Let's move on to Yankees, Blue Jays, 67 Fahrenheit clear, 12 miles per hour sideways. Tanaka versus Ray. Tanaka opening up at minus 240, now minus 230, a 10-cent move over to Ray and the Jays. This total is at 10.5, juiced to the under. Tanaka 3-2, 3.27 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, 44 innings, 39 Ks, 5 walks. Robbie Ray 5.94 ERA, 1.74 WHIP, 10 walks and 16 2/3. Yankees don't hit lefties like they do righties. 230, 740 OPS. Blue Jays versus righties, 245, 754 OPS. And this Blue Jays bullpen that looked so good up until about 3 weeks ago is now just completely struggling. 4.73 ERA, 1.50 WHIP, falling apart over the last few weeks. Bullpen for the Yankees has been middling all year, 4.44 ERA, 1.34 WHIP. Teams have split the first 2 games of the series. Yankees won 12-1 last night. Yankees have won 11 of 13. They lead the season series 5-3, 4-game lead over the Jays for second place in the AL East. They have a chance to get into that home playoff spot, possibly. They're sitting in their 5th seed right now in the AL. Tanaka going up against the Jays for the second straight start. Season high 7 innings Thursday, 3 runs, allowed 3 runs to earn the win. 14-5 with a 2.92 ERA and 22 career starts against Toronto. Jays have lost 7 of their past 9. Ray 1-1 with a 5.94 ERA in 4 appearances for these Jays. What are you thinking here, Yankees, Blue Jays, Nolly?
This is a tough spot for me. I like Tanaka. I like the way he's looked, especially heading closer to the postseason. Like I mentioned, this guy's a postseason warrior. 1.78 ERA, 5-1. And here going into this game, the only thing I don't trust is Robbie Ray. I wanted to try to take a shot this first 5 under here, but Robbie Ray is a guy that's been too erratic. He's pitched a lot better here since he's been traded, but his walks crept up with him last time out, and he got hit hard. And here in this game, I was even trying to think about a team total over with the Yankees, but that thing's been shot up to 6.5. I think that's a little crazy here, but they do get the full 9 innings. But yeah, the game I'm not really liking here. A game that I'm going to really stay off. I don't like the way the Jays have been playing, especially needing wins. But yeah, I'm just going to stay off this game.
Stay off this spot. Yeah, Tanaka sees the Jays often. Nice 2.92 ERA and 22 career starts, but when a season high 7 against us last out, 3 runs to earn the win. We got Big Ragu joining us. Great to see you, Big Ragu. This is another stay off spot for me at this point. I can understand why Jin Rummy's on the Jays. You know, I mean, that's just too big. The Yankees are too big of a favorite at this point. And I can understand why you were hesitant to take the under. I wonder if the over in at least the first 5 is in play. But the win's going to help these pitchers. All right, let's move on to my first spot on the card. And I'm less comfortable with it the more I've sat with it. I don't know why. I just think that Trevor Bauer is crazy enough to pitch well on 3 days rest. He's been asking to pitch on 3 days rest all season. So finally getting the opportunity here in Brewers Reds. I don't know if this is me believing in Trevor Bauer on 3 days rest or knowing that Adrian Hauser is so vulnerable up on the mound. Let's see what we're dealing with. I got a minus 155 on the money line, and I forget what my run line was, but overall my -1, I got a minus 113. The Reds have moved to minus 165 at Bet 365. This total opened at 8, and it is now at 8.5. Mr. Goger says Bauer, Reds score first. Hauser is a gas can, especially versus Cincy, and that's his article play of the day. Reds score first at plus 110, 76 Fahrenheit, overcast, 5 miles per hour, out to left center. Hauser, 5.33 ERA, 1.52 whip. Trevor Bauer, 4-4, 1.80 ERA, 0.82 whip, 88 Ks, and 65 innings. The Brewers don't hit righties hard. It was another – that's what kind of just got me over the edge to make this bet. 219, 689 OPS. Reds, 212, 728 OPS first righties. Brewers bullpen, 4.11 ERA, 1.22 whip. Reds bullpen, 4.75 ERA, 1.30 whip. So last out, Bauer, 2 home runs over 7 innings in the 5-0 loss to the White Sox on Saturday. But 1.33 ERA, 1.8 or 0.184 opponent's batting average. Bauer 1-1 with a 3.65 ERA this season against Milwaukee. Hauser's not completed more than 4 2/3 in any of his last 3 starts. He's allowed at least 4 runs in 6 straight starts, 11 in the last 2 combined, although in that last start, only 2 of those 4 runs were earned. Castellanos, Winker, and Joey Votto and Suarez, the 4 of them, are combined 15 for 32 with 5 homers against Hauser. Votto hasn't got a hit against Milwaukee all year, so maybe this gets him going, 0 for 22. And Vogelbach has been a nice piece, nice addition for these Brewers. I'm on the Reds -1. Are you making a move here? Brewers, Reds, Nolly.
Yeah, when I look at this spot right away, you look at Trevor Bauer. That's, like you said, it's actually the first time I get to talk about him and a guy that I've been backing a lot this year. He's looked really, really good. A guy that took that extra time off and really put it to use. A guy that might be a little crazy off the field. Maybe says some things that you might not want to listen to, but on the field, the guy's a gamer and he competes, and he's looked pretty good against this Milwaukee team here, and I expect him to do the same. He threw a complete game in a doubleheader against them, and then he goes 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs in his last start against him, but I expect him to come out and pitch really well. He likes to prove everybody wrong, and especially in this situation when you talk about 3 days rest, he knows everybody's talking about it. So I'm sure he'll tweet something crazy out, mentioning something, or he might flip off the commissioner, whatever he does. He's a maniac. On the other side, Hauser, like you said, he's been a fade, and especially going against these Cincinnati Reds. 4 innings pitched, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, and hasn't been able to get through more than 5 innings in this month of September. Got a 7.13 ERA in the month, and I'm on it with you, Jimmy. This is a spot that I want to try to isolate the starting pitching advantage, so I'm going to take the first 5 -0.5 on the Cincinnati Reds at -115.
Yeah, -1.5. Sorry, break that down again. Sorry, was that first 5 or full game?
First 5.
First 5, -0.5 and -115. I locked mine in last night, and the 5s, the first 5s weren't available. Does the 3 days rest concern you at all?
I mean, for a lot of pitchers, it could be a concern, but like I said, with Trevor Bauer, the head case that he is, I'm sure he's going to be ready. That's something that I think he wants to go out there and prove people wrong. And he's a solid pitcher. All his advanced numbers, he knows what to look for. He's invested in a lot of technology to try to perfect his craft. And I like riding him. I like riding him.
I will make that addition to first 5 -0.5. Just crazy enough to love 3 days rest. All right. Okay, Dutch Boy Fresh said, I said no MLB, but I want to tail this play. All right, let's move on to Astros, Mariners, Greinke versus Marjevicius. I say it right when it's just as soon as I get on the show. Okay, this total opened up at 8.5 at a pick'em. It's now slightly juiced to the over. Greinke and the Astros open up at -180. There's been a 30-cent move towards them. Greinke, 3-2, 3.90 ERA, 1.07 whip. Marjevicius, 1-3, 5.35 ERA, 1.30 whip. Astros, 237, 717 OPS versus lefties. Shocking. Mariners versus righties, 241, 715 OPS. Mariners bullpen is being atrocious. So is the Astros bullpen. 1.53 whip. Both bullpens have a 1.53 whip and high opponent's batting average. Astros have a 3.5-game lead over the Angels, 4-game lead over the Mariners with 5 games left. 15 career appearances against Seattle. Greinke 7-1, 2.08 ERA. Mariners took the series opener 6-1 Monday. Astros got 6-1 win yesterday. Mariners have a chance, tiny chance at the wild card berth. They're 4 games behind the Jays as well. And Marjanovic has pitched twice against the Astros this season, a scoreless inning of relief, and then a 6-inning start where he allowed 2 runs, 4 hits. And I've got to get over that vividness bias of the Astros smashing lefties, because that is not the case anymore. They don't smash lefties. Take it away, Nolly, Astros, Mariners.
Yeah, when you look at this game, Jimmy, and I see the line movement, and it's just been the complete domination of this Houston Astros against these Mariners. They're 6-1 against them this year, and it's going back to last year. They're 24-2 against this team. That's complete domination. I can understand why people are backing these Astros, but Greinke's a guy that he'll pitch well. He'll look good for 4 innings and then get lit up in the 5th or 6th. A guy that's doing a little bit of crazy stuff. I don't know if you've seen it. He's been giving the signs to the batters. I've seen him go down to the side and throw down the 2. He's even gone like this to let them know. Maybe something to do with the cheating scandal over there. But when you see there's been a big drop with these Houston Astros bats. The run differential, if you see, has been the biggest drop in history compared to last year. So a team that they don't look as good as what you might see, but they're sneaking into this playoffs. And you see the Mariners, they're trying to get in there. They're working hard, but they haven't looked good as of late. And it's hard to trust them against these Astros. I'm not going to even try to mention the name, Nick. We'll just go with Nick. He's just 1-3 with a 5.35 ERA, 1.30 WHIP. Not a guy really that I'm going to trust, but like you said, they've been struggling over there. The Houston Astros hitting lefties. Big concern that I see here going into this game. Seeing a minus 210 on the board is something that I really don't like. This could actually be like a sneaky under here, but I just don't want to trust these teams right now.
Could be a sneaky under here. Definitely. Wish we were getting a 9. Could be a sneaky under here. Could be a sneaky first 5 under as well.
Yeah. That's more so what I was thinking. Like sneaky first 5 under. Try to get Greinke out of there as soon as we can, because he will throw you some solid innings.
And stay away from the bullpens.
Stay away from the bullpens. You got Seattle Mariners dead last in ERA in the bullpen. Not something that I want to trust.
4.5. I mean, Astros don't hit lefties. Mariners don't hit righties. Got the roof closed. This feels like a spot here, doesn't it? I mean, do you trust Marjanovic?
Not really. No. That's why that's my big question mark here. So I guess it would tell me to take Houston, but not at that price. You know, you're laying 200 now.
Yeah,
it's just no way. That's no value there.
Let's W on the Mariners team total under. I guess the third time seeing Marjanovic, too, even if the first one was just an inning. Okay, I'll stay off that spot. Let's move on to Cubs Pirates. Hendricks Williams, man, 2 different stories from these guys. How unbelievably bad has Trevor Williams been this year? I remember a couple years ago, he was closing up the season like a future all-star ace, and he's just not followed that up. Hendricks and the Cubbies opened up at minus 210. They're now minus 220. This total sitting at 8. Hendricks pitching very well. In Pittsburgh, 73 Fahrenheit clear, 5 miles per hour to left center. Hendricks 6-4, 2.93 ERA, 1.63 WHIP. Oh, sorry, 2.93 ERA, 0.99 WHIP. Sorry, I looked at Trevor Williams there for a second. Hendricks 61 Ks, 7 walks. Trevor Williams 6.70 ERA, 1.63 WHIP. Wow, 14 home runs allowed in 49 2/3. Cubs versus righties, 232, 734 OPS. Pirates are the worst team in the league versus righties, 201, 582 OPS. Cubs bullpen has been pitching better and better as the season's gone on. Pirates bullpen, 4.67 ERA, 1.41 WHIP. Hendricks last out 8 scoreless against the Twinkies on Friday. It was such an impressive start. He's 3-0 with a 1.21 ERA in 4 starts in September. 27 Ks, 3 walks. 6-7 with a 3.07 ERA, 18 career starts against Pittsburgh. And Williams, I mean, will he even be in the show next year? The opponents are hitting 310 against them. 14 homers in 10 starts. 6 of those homers have come on 2 strike counts. 12 of the 14 have come on fastballs. Last out, he gave up 6 runs, 5 of them earned, 7 hits and 4 1/3. 6.09 ERA in 12 career appearances against Cubs. He's never pitched well against the Cubs. I mean, we don't want to be sitting here with minus 220 road favorites, but is this a spot where you can understand it?
Yeah, this is one that I definitely did consider quite a bit, Jimmy. But actually, this is a spot that I'm actually going to go a little bit different, something that haven't done really much, and I'm actually going to go with the team total with the Cubs. I'm going with the over 4.5, and pretty much just fading Williams. And something that I don't like what I see out of him, a guy that I want to fade. And going into the season, what I seen out of him, he looked a lot thicker. He looked a lot thicker in the hips, and that's something that I was looking to fade guys that came in a little chunky. He did not put in the work. You can see it. It's evident. When other guys came in a lot stronger, especially when they're older, and he doesn't – there's nothing to like about him. He's given up 27 runs in his last 5 starts, given up 5, 6, and 5 in his last 3, a guy that just doesn't look to have it. And what is he really pitching for right now here with these Pirates? Not much. And we look on the other side, Kyle Hendricks. Yeah, he's had some road woes in the past, but I don't feel like that would be a concern here against this Pittsburgh team. And I like what I see out of Kyle Hendricks. I mean, there might be a spot that you want to back him, but I'm not gonna lay that price. So I'm gonna try to take it over there with the team total. But Kyle Hendricks has looked good, and this is like a postseason prep start for him, is what they're calling it. And I expect him to do well here today.
What are you getting? Mine's not on the board yet. 4.5 of what juice?
I'm getting minus 120. Let me see. Let me make sure of that. Yeah, minus 120.
That's a nice price. It already looks like they're setting up for a 5.5 here. There's no line out yet. Makes sense. Sportsman of the Year says, sorry I'm late, fam. What did I miss? Not a lot of looks so far. We'll review everything, but not a lot of looks on this board. But a team total over for Nolly Knows here on the Cubbies. Team total over. Very curious to see what I will get on that. And it looks – now, I'll wait till come up, but it certainly looks like they're going to give a Pirates team total at 2.5, which is just absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. And what would the Cubs' first 5 minus a half be? It's not up. Oh, wait, alternate. Yeah, it's not up for me yet.
Be minus 145, I seen.
Yeah, it's going to be too much. Too much. Okay. All righty. So we have Nolly Knows making a move that makes a ton of sense. Cubs team total over. I want to see what I am getting when it comes up on my book. Let's move over to Marlins Braves. Sixto, Max Fried. Very interesting pitching matchup here. Braves and Fried open up at minus 175, which is where they stand right now. This total is sitting at 8. Braves 17-8 at home. Marlins 28-27. They've proved a lot of people wrong and stayed strong all year. 71 Fahrenheit overcast, 3 miles per hour, sideways in. Sixto, finally some vulnerability in his last start. 3-2, 2.75 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. He's been so good this year, but man, finally looked susceptible against the Nats on the 18th of September. 4 innings, allowed 5 runs, season high 5 runs. He faced the Braves on September 8th and worked 6 scoreless. Looked very good against them. But this Braves team is absolutely smashing right now. The Braves hit righties, 277, 868 OPS. Marlins hit lefties, really nice, 271, 775 OPS. And that's gone up a lot. That was very high very early in the year. It fell back to earth and has now gone skyrocketing up again. Marlins bullpen being bad all year, 5.34 ERA, 1.53 WHIP. Braves bullpen being so strong all season long, 3.36 ERA, 1.28 WHIP. Braves have clinched the NL East. They've now moved past the Cubs for the 2nd seed in the NL. They've won the first 2 games of the series. They hit 5 home runs on Tuesday. They've hit 50 home runs in September. Ozuna is batting so well. He's hitting .327 now, and he now leads the NL in home runs and RBI, 17 and 53 respectively. Albies rolling right now. He's batting .396 in 13 games since being activated off the injured list. Freddie Freeman batting .347 and 50 RBI, second in the NL behind Ozuna. And here we have Max Fried. He came back after dealing with back spasms. Looked good, allowed 1 run in 5 innings. Made 1 start against the Marlins this year, 6 in the 3rd, scoreless, struck out 7. And the Marlins have a magic number of 3 to sew up the wild card spot, their first playoff appearance since 2003. This is a very interesting spot with a lot of moving parts. What are you doing here for this Atlanta, Miami?
Yeah, when I look at this game, it's a little bit tough because you see the bats for both these teams have been hitting the ball pretty well, especially when you look at Freeman over there for Atlanta and like you said, Ozuna, been hitting the cover off the ball. So you look at the lineup and the way they've been able to succeed on both sides of the plate is somewhat scary, especially coming off a tough start for Sixto Sanchez, like you said, against the Nationals. This is a guy that's filthy. This guy, there's a lot of nasty pitches. I don't know if you heard the pitching ninja, check him out, but that guy, he highlights all the nastiest pitches in the major leagues, and Sixto's on it every single time. And on the other side, you got Max Fried, who's been lights out. You know, he had spent some time on the IL, comes back, doesn't miss a beat. A guy that looks really, really good, young, has had postseason experience, a guy that they're going to have to rely on going into the postseason here for the Atlanta Braves. And being that they clinch, I'm not sure how that affects them coming out here the day after. I expect them to do well. And I expect actually the 6-0 to have a bounce back start. I say it over and over. I understand the teams have been hitting pretty well, but I expect the good pitching to beat that good hitting more often than not. And here I'm leaning towards the first 5 under. I see the total climbing up. A little bit of a surprise for me a little bit, but I'm going to wait a little bit, but I'm going to lean towards the first 5 under here, but no move as of yet.
These Braves are smashing the ball. Is it too dangerous to fade Sixto here, first 5? Or there's no point to first 5, but fade Sixto full game?
I mean, yeah, if you're going to fade him, I would say full game, like you said, being that a little bit better bullpen over there with Atlanta, and the bat's been hitting. I think Atlanta's bat, they're scoring the most runs in the major league, so that's a team that you could trust full game.
Do you think Sixto bounces back, or do you think there's been enough tape on him to know what he's trying to do to batters?
No, I think he bounces back. This guy's been solid. You know, every single start before that last one has been great, and he's fell behind batters. You go to 2-0, 3-1 counts, you're gonna get hit, and that's what happened a lot in that game. I was watching that game. I had the first 5 under, but he gave it up. He gave it up single-handedly. It was a 5-0 after 5, and I expect him to bounce back. A guy that I have a lot of confidence in going forward.
The -1 is at -123 for the Braves. I'm interested. I wonder if Sixto is. This Braves team is just. I mean, there's no scarier lineup in MLB right now.
Yeah, you said it right there, Jimmy. You know, they've scored 7, 5, and 11 runs their last 3, won 3 in a row. I mean, I don't hate it. You know, I'd rather back Fried than 6-0 in this spot. I definitely agree with there.
Mr. Goes to Miami, first 5 team total over 1.5. They do hit lefties. So, what's your expectation of Fried moving forward? He looked good after the back spasms. Is he the ace of the staff? Is he gonna? He's not allowed a home run all year. 55 innings.
Yeah, I got a lot of faith in this guy. I saw it firsthand against the Dodgers in the playoffs, and the guy had a lot of good poise on the mound. Really young, and he's got a lot of good experience, and he's looked really strong. Like you said, comes back from the injury and doesn't miss a beat. That's something that I really like seeing out of him, and a guy that I'm going to trust. Especially, like I said, this is the last start for a lot of these guys getting ready for the postseason, and I expect them to bring it.
Yeah, I'm going to make a move on the Braves -1. This lineup is just too dangerous. And Sixto has been so good this year. But he's just regressing to the mean. I think that the book might be out on him a little bit, and I'm sure he'll figure out how to get through this little bump in the road. But Albies, Ozuna, Acuna, Freeman hitting the way they are, I'm going to take the Braves -1. Braves -1 and -123. All right, let's move on to Rays Mets. Rays Mets 76 Fahrenheit clear, 8 miles per hour sideways in Waka Glasnow. This total opened up under 8.5, juiced at -115. It's now juiced to -120. Glasnow and the Rays opened up at -180. They're now at -170. now minus 170. And G-Sauce going even harder on the White Sox, going to do a little -1 and plus 220. There's DJ Big Boss Red Girl joining us. Mitch Bruner just ordered his Atlanta playoffs hat today. All right, Glasnow Walker. Glasnow 4.21 ERA, 1.19 whip. Michael Walker 6.75 ERA, 1.68 whip. I think it's tough for these guys like Walker who've been bad all year, and now they don't get their regular rotation spot. So it's very difficult to stay in any kind of rhythm. The Mets are hitting righties hard, 283, 824. The Rays don't hit righties that hard, 237, 743 OPS. Mets won yesterday 5-2 to keep those faint playoff hopes alive. They're 2.5 games behind the Reds, Brewers, and Giants. They're all tied. Walker last pitch September 16th, 4 innings of 1 run relief. He last started September 8th. Gave up 5 runs, 4 earned over 4 innings against the Orioles. 9.72 ERA in 2 starts against the Rays. Glasnow 7.07 ERA in 5 career games, 2 starts against the Mets. He won his 4th straight decisional last Friday. Looked good. 1 run over 5 as the Rays beat the Orioles 2-1. What are you doing here, Nolly? Rays, Mets.
A game where I look at here with Glasnow, a game that I'm a little interested in, especially because of these bats for these Tampa Bay Rays have gone dead silent, especially when you see some of these lineups that they're putting out. You look at their last few games, they've scored 2 runs, 3 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, and 2 runs. And going back further, they're averaging a really low total over the last 10 games. So a team that I'm really not looking to see an offensive explosion today. And then you got Glasnow on the mound for them, who, his numbers don't look that great for the season, but he's pitched a lot better as of late, especially his last time out against Baltimore. He looked really good. Going 5 innings, just 1 earned run, 10 strikeouts. So that was a big thing, getting the final strike. The guy that's going to get up in the pitch count because of always trying to chase the strikeout, he's a guy that gets what they call he gets a strikeout, a hit ball, or a walk on over 50% of his pitches, and that's something that's very high, extremely high, number 1 in the MLB for that. But a guy that I really like right now going against the Mets, hasn't faced him since 2018, so he's a different pitcher than he was back then. And Michael Walker is the guy that I'm concerned about. 7.5 ERA going into this, 1.75 WHIP. Guy that I'm really not trusting. They really don't know what to do with him. It was a starter way back with the Cardinals, and now coming out of the bullpen doesn't seem to fit there. But they've been using him sporadically. Obviously, they don't trust him either. So this is a tough game for me. But I was trying to lean towards the first 5 under, just because you look at the Rays bats, they're really not trying to do too much right now. But I'm going to stay off as of now, but a hard lean to the first 5 under, but I'm staying off right now.
Yeah, I can understand that. And Walker is just somebody I can't trust. And you can't trust the Rays offense either. And Jason Lowry says Tampa Bay can't hit. Look at their run totals the last 15 games. Glasnow has bad numbers against the Mets, but he's looked better of late. He's looked quite strong of late. Shy Archie joining us. Cash Action said, had Mets last night. Lean Mets here again. Brian Watson says, Tampa killed me last night. Yeah, not a lot to play for the Rays. And Ulysses Hayes in Atlantic City right now. Sweet. Man, that's a nice spot to be in. All right, Rays, Mets. No move for either of us. No move for either of us. Let's move on to Orioles, Red Sox. You guys know that I'm high on Dean Kramer. And he's been my only success over the last few weeks, pretty much. 72 Fahrenheit clear, 8 miles per hour sideways out to right. Kramer versus Eovaldi. This total is at 9. Juice to minus 120 initially, now at minus 110. Eovaldi and the Red Sox open up at minus 145, a 15-cent move towards them at minus 160. Orioles versus righties, 259, 752 OPS. Red Sox versus righties, 263, 781 OPS. Orioles bullpen 4.02 ERA 1.30 WHIP. Red Sox bullpen 5.83 ERA 1.62 WHIP. Red Sox won the opener 8-3. Eovaldi's allowed 1 run, struck at 11 in 8 innings since coming back from the IL. 5-1 with a 4.61 ERA, 11 career starts against Baltimore. Orioles have lost 5 of 6. Kramer looked good last out. 1 run, 3 hits over 5 innings against the Rays. We know that the Rays aren't hitting. Gabe Killian saying Eovaldi is a good fade. I'm actually leaning towards the under in this spot. What do you think here, Nolly? Orioles, Red Sox.
Yeah, when you talk about, we said it right there, Kramer's looked really good in his first 3 starts here in the major leagues this year. And the guy that I really like, he's thrown 20 strikeouts just to 9 walks, good indication of his command. And the guy that I'm going to continue to look to back here in this spot, especially getting a decent number. When you look at Uvalde's numbers over the course of the season, they don't look that great, but his last 3 starts have been excellent. Goes 7 innings against Baltimore, 5 hits, just 1 earned run. Then Tampa Bay, 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. Against Miami, 5 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs. And hasn't given up a walk here in the month of September. 1.13 ERA in 8 innings pitched. The guy that I'm really liking right now, a guy that has the stuff to be able to be successful here in the major leagues. And I'm right there with you, Jimmy. I like the first 5 under here.
I do too. I think this makes sense. Do you know this total actually got up to 9.5 for 7 minutes yesterday? 7 minutes. This total got up to 9.5 last night around midnight, and and I was capping that. I was like, man, what am I not seeing that they're pushing this towards the over? BY beat him on the over here, but I think this is a spot for the under as well. First 5 under makes sense to me. Let's see what I will be getting at my book if I pull the trigger here on the first 5 under. Kramer, Eovaldi. First 5 under would be under 5 at minus 126 runs. Have to get there. I like this. I'm in. First 5 under for me. First 5 under. It's minus 120. We'll see what it is when I go bet it. All right. And cash action also Baltimore, Boston under. All right, here's another under I was interested in. Both these spots, I didn't pull the trigger. The market was moving against me. And so I just slept on it and wanted to talk it out with you, Nolly. Tigers, Twins, Casey Mize versus Kenta Maeda. I know that Mize is the issue here. Do we trust him if we want to take the under? 80 Fahrenheit, Minnesota, warm night. 6 miles per hour sideways across the diamond is the wind. Casey Mize 0-2, 6.08 ERA, 1.48 whip, 22 Ks and 23 2/3, 11 walks, 5 home runs allowed. Number 1 overall pick in 2018. Maeda's looked so good this year. 0.76 whip, 71 Ks, 10 walks. Wow. Tigers 225, 664 OPS versus righties. They have no power, no average against righties. Twins versus righties 245, 781 OPS. Tigers bullpen has been, when it gets hit hard. Whip isn't bad, but the ERA is high. Twins bullpen has been very good all season. They've won 3 in a row. They're a half game back of the White Sox in the division. And Donaldson gave his teammates these long blue robes with their names and numbers on it. And now when you hit a home run, they bring out the robe, they put it on your back, and they're loving it. And this is the kind of thing that captures the imagination of the fans. It captures the excitement of the team in the clubhouse. This is a great move by Donaldson and something that I think we're going to see a lot of in the playoffs. Nelson Cruz dealing with a sore knee. They're just a half game back now. This is a big game for the Twins. Do they ride right now? What do you think, Nolly?
Yeah, this is a tough spot for me to try to identify with Casey Mize, a guy that has the stuff to be successful. You've seen in his first couple of starts, he looked really well, but ever since then, he's been getting lit up. A guy that I'm really not trusting right now. Goes 3 2/3, 5 runs, 3 of them earned against the Cleveland Indians. And here, Kenta Maeda on the other side has looked excellent this year. 2.52 ERA. Like I mentioned a few times, this guy is finally gets a chance to be the starter, and he doesn't want to give it up. Really pitched really well. And like you said, Jimmy, this is the first spot that I'm going to look at is try to look at under with the Minnesota Twins. This has been the most profitable team to the under this year. But here, this is a tough spot to back Casey Mize, a guy that I really don't like right now. And you talk about how important this game is for the Minnesota Twins. I expect them to produce runs. But to go over the 8.5, I really don't expect that. But not really a guy in Casey that I'm going to trust. And then when you look at the you look at the price for the Minnesota Twins, and it's too expensive. You're laying almost almost 300 for them. Not something that I'm going to be laying here. So I'm going to be off this game, but I expect the Twins to come in and take control here.
I do too. I agree with that breakdown. Elliot V thinking that Maeda will regress. Yeah, I can understand that thought process. And maybe Maeda is someone if we think there's regression, might want to try fading come playoff time. See where the Twinkies end up anyways. Maeda Mize, I'm going to stay off. This total opened up at 8. It went up to 8.5. It's only 8.5 in a couple books. It's come back down to 8 at most. Brian Watson on Minnesota -1.5. Even that is just going to be so juiced. Let's see what I'd be getting on the Twinkies -1.5, -150. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to move it or use it. All right, Tigers Twins, a stay off for Nolly and I. Now we get the Cardinals Royals. It's back to 9s. Okay, well that makes me feel a little better. There were 8.5s on the board 2 or 3 hours ago. I think this was a mistake. I just have this vividness of these two pitchers getting destroyed, and so I took the over 9 at -115 last night. 73 Fahrenheit, clear, 5 miles per hour, out to left center. Cardinals Royals. Martinez has looked terrible this year, but he is somebody that has the stuff to get right. 8.40 ERA, 2.07 WHIP, 8 walks, 4 home runs in 15 innings. Danny Duffy, 5.01 ERA. The Cards are not hitting lefties nearly as hard. That's what scared me when I dove a little deeper. I'd already made the bet. I just fired. I thought this line was going to be going up, and the Cards were hitting lefties hard earlier in the year. That stopped. And so they're down to 237, 752 OPS against lefties. Royals don't hit righties hard. This might be a get-right spot for both of them, to be honest with you. Elliot V says, I think the Royals got the better pitcher on the bump right now. Ravi Patel liking the Royals here. And I was on the Royals first 5 last Duffy start 5 days ago, and they were up 4-0. And Duffy couldn't hold on to the first 5 win for me. Very, very, very disheartening. Royals and Cards bullpens both have been good this year. Cardinals are trying to hold off Cincinnati and Milwaukee for second place. They need this badly. Martinez allowed 5 runs last out against Pittsburgh in that double dip, but only 1 was earned. But I don't know how we didn't. I'm so afraid of these 7-inning totals that I stayed off of that over. It was so easy. It was Williams versus Carlos Martinez, and I didn't take it. And then Duffy struck out 4 batters in the first 3 innings. The Royals led 4-0 after 3, and I couldn't catch the first 5 because Duffy allows 6 runs in the 4th. Nottingham salami. I took the over 9 here. Cardinals Royals. Take it away. You making a move on this game, Nolly?
Yeah, this is a series I've actually taken the first 5 under in the last 2 games. But here, when you look at Carlos Martinez starting for the St. Louis Cardinals, is something that I really do not like, especially when I'm looking at unders. A guy that, to me, would not be in the starting rotation, would not be for this COVID situation. A guy that they were sticking into the bullpen somehow manages to start, and they continue to throw him out there. The guy has looked really bad all season, and they continue to throw him out. That's a cause for concern. Obviously, they don't have the pitching, but as a team, they've been winning quite a bit, and a team that still has a lot to play for. They're trying to go after the title in the division still because they have a lot of games left. They won 4 of the last 5, and the pitching has been their strong suit. But here they're going to struggle with Carlos Martinez on the bump. On the other side, you got Danny Duffy, another guy that can't trust game in and game out. The guy that I've never really backed, got a 5 ERA. That's pretty much what you're going to get out of him. And so no arguments here, Jimmy. You got a guy with a 2 WHIP and a guy with a 5 ERA on the other side. I expect Carlos Martinez to give it up here. So, yeah, I agree with the over, but it's not my job to bet the overs.
I hear that. I think the first 5 was probably the better look. It wasn't available last night. Obviously, they don't come out to the morning. And I was trying to get ahead of a market move. And it's now I could get that overnight at -105. That first 5 is juiced to the under at -120. I'm very concerned about this bet that I made. All right, let's move on to A's Dodgers. Two lefties going up, Manaea and Urias. 81 Fahrenheit clear, 6 miles per hour out to right center. And we've seen this on so many occasions when a team clinches that NL West title. They clinch that first seed in the NL. It's a spot where you want to fade them. And it feels like, even though in a 60-game season, not a 162-game season, it's not an enormous celebration when you clinch, but still a celebration. Urias opens up at minus 165, 5-cent move towards the A's to minus 160. This total opens up at 8.5 and is now at 9. Urias 3-0, 3.49 ERA, 1.20 whip, 40 Ks in 49 innings, 16 walks, 5 home runs allowed. A's don't hit lefties at all. 219, 695 OPS. Dodgers versus lefties, 244, 738 OPS. A's bullpen, Dodgers bullpen, both very, very, very good. 7-2 win over the A's yesterday. Urias has made 10 starts this season, allowed 2 runs or fewer in 3 of his 4 September starts. And Manaea up against this Dodgers lineup that doesn't hit lefties hard. Oakland has dropped to the number 3 seed. They're a half game behind the White Sox. Manaea last out at Colorado, tough place to pitch. 5 2/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 7 Ks. He's been much better since a really rough opening start of the season for him. Is this a spot we back the A's? Bright Ware says A's. Do we back the A's here, Nolly?
Yeah, that's a tough thing for me to say here, especially as a Dodger fan. You see it all over my background. Yeah, they clinched the division yesterday. A team that's been playing really well as of late and throughout the season, and here going against a tough lefty and Manaea. Manaea's looked really good as of late, like you said, early in the season. They talked about it throughout the clubhouse. His legs really weren't under him. Guy came in kind of out of shape, but he's looked a lot better as of late. And I expect him to pitch well here against the Dodgers. On the other side, you got Julio Urias, and the guy, he's been inconsistent, but a guy that has the stuff to pitch well here in the major leagues. His advanced numbers are okay, but they could be a little better, what I've seen from him. When he's looked good in his last few starts, did give it up against Colorado 3 starts ago. And here against Oakland, a team that hasn't faced him and a team that struggles against lefties, I actually expect him to pitch pretty well here. This is a look that I'm looking at here. I see a 5 here on the first 5, and I'm going to take a shot at the first 5 under 5. Expect the Dodger bats, like you said. Sorry, Jimmy. Expect the Dodger bats to be a little cold here coming out. And the Athletics, as long as you throw strikes, you can get them out.
Yeah, I think this makes sense. I think this makes a lot of sense. This first 5 under 5. Let's see what I'm getting here. Under 5 at minus 115. Nice weather for offense in LA. 81 Fahrenheit clear, 6 miles per hour to right center. But you're going to have this watered down Dodgers lineup. You have an A's lineup that doesn't hit lefties. I'm in. First 5, under 5, A's, Dodgers. And if the A's just could hit lefties a little harder, I would back them here. But I still think a plus 135, they should probably be the play. Young Suave says Dodgers should rest some people. I like Oakland. What do you think? Elliot V says 5 ERA versus Dodgers. Yeah, but Elliot, this isn't going to have the tough bats in the lineup. Do you think this is a spot to back the A's, Nolly?
I mean, if you're looking at the angle about you're talking clinching the NL West, the Oakland A's have also clinched the AL West. So to me, that angle just really doesn't mean much here in this spot. Both teams that really don't have too much to play for here. So I really not looking at that angle, but I mean, I'm not going to lay that number with Urias in this type of day. That would be the only way, but I just not really a fan of that angle.
But the A's still need that number 2 seed. So they're a half game back of the 3 seed. So I still think, but I know that the time is to get healthy. Jin Rami says they are the play, but the line opened at plus 150. So 15-cent move. I think they are the play. And Jin Rami said he needed plus 160 to make that move. All right, I'll settle for the first 5 under 5. I'll see what happens with this line. This might be a late addition, sitting at plus 135 right now. Okay, let's move on to Rockies Giants. The last game on the card, Noli. Rockies, Giants. Total opens up at 9. Giants open up at minus 165. They're now minus 200. So a 35-cent move towards these San Francisco Giants. 65 Fahrenheit clear, 11 miles per hour out to straightaway center. It's Castellani versus Logan Webb. Castellani looked good in his first start and completely fell apart after it. Logan Webb, 5.73 ERA, 1.52 whip. Rockies versus righties, 243, 695 OPS, and now they don't have Arenado in the lineup for the rest of the season. He's going to be replaced at third by Ryan McMahon. Giants versus righties, 264, 766 OPS. Rockies bullpen's been atrocious all year, 6.96 ERA, 1.68 whip. And the Giants bullpen has been good, 4.25 ERA, 1.30 whip. And the Giants are battling for these wild card spots, and they're beat up. Dickerson, the x-rays came back negative on his right elbow, so it's possible he can be back in the lineup today. Yastrzemski, they're trying to get him back in the lineup by the end of the regular season. He's got a strained right calf, and Rockies just playing out the string at this point. Rockies, Giants, you making a move here?
Like you said, Jimmy, right here with Castellani, a guy that I rode early in the season. He actually had a couple good starts, but yeah, as of late, hasn't looked good at all. He's been getting hit and getting hit hard. Here against these San Francisco Giants, I expect him to continue to get hit. But you said they're playing for a lot. But when a lot of nerves get involved, they don't hit as much, and that's what you've been seeing across the league here. And on the other side here, for the Giants, that's the only concern here for me. If I'm going to try to back the Giants, will be Logan Webb, a guy that they look to try to lean on him to try to build around for the future. They like some of the stuff that he has to show, but he's been inconsistent. He gives up 6 earned runs his last start. Then the start before that against San Diego goes 4 innings, just 1 earned run, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, just 1 walk. And then in Seattle gets lit up again. So inconsistency is what I've seen a lot from Logan Webb. So that's what I find tough to back here in this spot. But I can understand the fate of Castellani. He hasn't looked good recently, but I'm going to stay off this game. But if anything, I'd say back to Giants.
Yeah, it's too rich here at minus 200. Nas is going Oakland and Twins run line today. Brandon Lugo can get a team total of 4.5. I can only get 5.5 at my book. 5.5 at my book. The weather, 11 miles per hour to straightaway center. It does swirl there at Oracle. I don't want the Giants at this price. What do you think about this total sitting at 9?
I mean, I would say, I mean, if it was in the middle of the season, right away, I would tell you to take the over. But here, going into the later part of the season, it's something that I look at for my unders, and you'll start seeing it across the board. It's under season, and that's the bats get a little bit tighter, the grip gets a little bit tighter. They're not hitting the same, and you can see it. It's evident in the runs across the league, and that's my one concern here when betting overs late in the season, especially in meaningful games.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is meaningful for the Giants. They are hoping to have Dickerson in the lineup. So Belt, Dickerson, Solano, Ruff, Crawford, Longoria, Slater, Bart, Dubon. And then for the Rockies, Tapia, Pilar, Blackman, Story, Fuentes, Dahl, McMahon, Diaz, Hampson. Those aren't the guys you want for the over. All right, I'll stay off. Nutflush Allen on a team total over for the Giants. 5.5 with that beaten up lineup is just a little too much for me, but he likes it. Over 5.5 at plus money for Nutflush Allen, our San Francisco Giants expert on the team total over. All right, that is our entire MLB baseball card. Nolly Knows, my man. Can you please review your action on today's slate?
Yeah, we'll run it off straight from the top. First game here on the board. Angels, Padres, first 5 under 4.5. Then the following game be the White Sox, Indians, first 5 under 3.5. They're going to back the Cincinnati Reds, first 5 -0.5, -115. And then a rarity, we're going to go over Cubs, team total over 4.5. And then back to the unders, Orioles, Red Sox, first 5 under 5. The last one on the board, get the Oakland A's and the Dodgers, first 5 under 5.
Okay, and Noli, we have a question coming in from Maxwell Smart on college football, so I will I will ask you that right after I just review my action in MLB. For me, there was 2 moves I made last night both I'm sort of lukewarm on right now. And some additions. I made the Reds -1 at -113 last night. I've added the first 5 minus a half. That's -120 when we gave it out 20 minutes ago. We'll see what it is when I bet it. And then nothing for Astros Mariners. And then Nolly's Cubs team total over was not available at my book. Let's see if it is right now. And he got 4.5 at -120. It's still not available yet at my book. So I'll have to wait for that team total over. And then Braves -1 is a move I'm making. This lineup is too hot. Sixto Sanchez got touched. Maybe he's overthinking things a little bit. We have Max Fried in his last start before the playoffs. A huge bullpen advantage. It was -123. We'll see what it is when I bet it. Rays, Mets, I'm off. Orioles, Red Sox, first 5 under 5 at -120 with Kramer and Eovaldi. I like it. I think it's sneaky. I like that look. That's going to be fun. Cardinals, Royals over 9 at -115. It's now -105. I'm very uncomfortable there. I did take that A's Dodgers first 5 under 5 with Nolly. I like it. And that's my MLB card. Nolly knows a question from our Maxwell Smart. It says, can you ask Nolly an opinion on the UAB under first half and full game? Let's see what the number is on UAB under tonight. UAB up against South Alabama. This total opened up at 50.5, Nolly, and is all the way down to 47.5. UAB opened up as a 6-point favorite. There's 6.5s and 7s on the board. What do you think of Max double dipping on the under at this number?
I mean, the only tough thing I would say is that line movement. You're going across some key numbers there, especially dropping almost 4 points. But definitely a lean for me here. I expect UAB to come out and actually punch them in the mouth. I like UAB to actually cover the 7 here. So you look at what they were able to do last year against this team, and a lot of returners for UAB. Last year they were able to pound South Alabama 35-3, and I expect that dominance to continue here. The total it might be a little tight here at the 47, but I definitely like the angle. Definitely would not lean towards the over. But I don't know if I'm going to go that route, but I'm definitely looking at UAB.
UAB. And so with this full game dropping 2.5 points from 3 points from 50.5 to 47.5, the first half under hasn't. First half under opened at 24 and stayed at 24. What do you think? Is that where you would attack that first half?
Yeah, I'd rather have the first half. Yeah, definitely.
All right.
I didn't see that.
There you go. Nolly knows liking that first half under and liking UAB to cover the 7. There you have it. Nolly knows absolutely great work. Thank you so much for joining us. Follow our man Nolly on Twitter at Nolly562. He's one of the best follows on all of Twitter. A. Haley says get up spot for UAB. A. Haley's on UAB at -6.5. Nolly, thank you for all your hard work. Good luck today. Any last words for these great cappers in the chat?
Good luck, everybody out there, and hopefully I could give you some tailor-fade material, however you look at it, and let's cash some tickets, man.
There he is. Our Nolly knows we're going to be seen every Wednesday right here on Betting with the Bag. Much love. Nolly, thank you so much for joining me, my friend.
Thank you, Jimmy. You have a good one. Good luck, everybody.
There he is. Nolly knows. Nolly knows. All right, let's move over to NBA Game 4 of the East Finals. And it's been a fun season. But I've now lost 6 of my last 7 bets in NBA. 6 of my last 7. And disappointing. Very disappointing. Still 163 wins, 143 losses. We're sitting up 7.42 units. ROI plus 2.42%. Average line minus 108. But we were right under 13 units. And that has gone south for me. But I want double-digit units up to end the season badly. That is my goal. And I think there's some money to be made in both of these series. So I'm ready to attack. Spenny Penny Bomb says Denver was a great money line hit last night. Ravi Patel says a correction was due after that heater. Yeah, and the correction happened. The correction happened. But I'm okay with those numbers. I'm just 2.5 units away from double-digit units. I hit double-digit units last year and the year before in front of you guys. I need to end the season there. So let's talk about this game 4 right now. Dylan Turner, beautiful. Yeah, great work yesterday. Dylan Turner had Nuggets money line and both teams to hit 100. Gorgeous. Rude Jude, we'll take a look at a best bet at the end here. Antoine Seymour on the Heat money line, and I can understand why you would be. I can understand why you would be. I can also understand why Celtics backers would be bullish about their Celtics. But let's talk about this spot. Let's start with pace. In the 8 seeding games, they had similar paces. Heat were 100.69 possessions a game, Celtics 101.06. Then in the playoffs, it slowed down. Heat went to 96.86 possessions a game, Celtics down to 95.69 possessions a game. Then in this series, it slowed down even more, 94.39 possessions a game. So the first quarter total is at 52.5. 52.5. And I bet the under in the first quarter. And there's two main reasons why. First off, the Heat have fallen behind by double digits in each of the first 3 games of the series. So 14 points in game 1, 17 points in game 2. This is what Jimmy Buckets has been talking about in the locker room, that they need more urgency. And that urgency will show up on the defensive end. And I think it will show up early. Now we've had a rest. For the first time, the Celtics, since that first round sweep, so for the first time in a while, they've had rest. And the Heat have also had rest. So with 3 days off, and I know that they're in the bubble, so they're practicing and playing nonstop, but I think that rhythm might be a little touch and go to start it off, and we know that the Heat are going to be playing with way more urgency. So I was going to make a move on the first half under, and the more I sat with it and studied it, I was like, no, just focus on the first quarter under. Because if the rest does help them, and don't forget, Brown, Tatum, and Walker all played over 40 minutes on Saturday. They combined for 72 points. You have Gordon Hayward out since August 17th. He plays 31 minutes. So if the rest is going to help them, I expect it to help them in the second quarter and in the second half. And then I thought my greatest edge would be this first quarter under 52.5, expecting the Heat to play with way more intensity early and a little bit of uncomfort rhythm-wise. So Boston looking to win consecutive playoff games for the first time since the start of the second round series against the Raptors. And they become a healthy group. Spenny Pennybomb says, I'm taking Boston early and Heat late. Boston keeps taking leads and losing them late. Ravi Patel's leading Heat and under. And I am on the first quarter under 52.5. And when Jim Remy says it's a coin flip, this series here, these are two very good basketball teams. And now that Gordon Hayward's back, it gives a little bit more options for Stevens. And that Heat advantage of having a much better bench, they still have a better bench, but it is limited a little bit. So Birdie taking Smart over 16.5 points and rebounds. Dennis Garcia says, I think this could be a form reversal like we saw with Denver yesterday where Miami gets out to an early lead. Dylan Turner says Boston's had the lead 80% of the series. So with all this being said, I'm only going to make one bet here. I need to get to double-digit units. That's my goal every year in NBA. And I'm right there. So I'm taking the first quarter under 52.5. And I like it a lot. I like the 3 days rest for a little bit rusty off the beginning of the game. And I like knowing that Jimmy Buckets is going to command and demand intensity early. And that intensity will show up on the defensive end. Celtics Heat, East Finals, Game 4, first quarter, under 52.5. There you go. Now let's move on to Lightning versus Stars, Stanley Cup Final, Game 3 series, tied 1-1. And Nufflush saying, Jimmy, just do one thing for me. Root like hell for the Heat because I have the same ticket that I had for watching Nationals by June 12th plus 6,000. You're right. I will. Okay. Lightning versus Stars, Stanley Cup Final, Game 3 series, tied 1-1. Lightning, power play. They've been saying they need Stamkos back. And they scored 2 power play goals. Also, Braden Point seems like he's healthier. What happened in the last 15 minutes of the Stars game, of Game 2 for the Stars, gave the Lightning a ton of confidence. The Stars needed to keep the momentum going, and they got 2 shots on goal in the last 15 minutes. Mr. Gokster says, are the Stars defeated? Blake Como, Radek Faksa are very important checking forwards. They're 2 forwards that are extremely important in a series against the snipers that the Lightning have. They're both hurt. Ravi Patel says Stars to win series. Jason Lowry says Stars. I think regardless, I don't know if Stamkos is coming back, Glenn Elliott, man. But I think 2 things were answered for the Lightning in Game 2. And if you want to bet the Stars every game in this series, makes sense. You're getting the plus lines. But I think the Lightning felt something in Game 2. And they now know, wow, we are 3 games away from winning the Stanley Cup Finals, and we can shut this team down. We can shut this team down when they need to score. When they need to score to get back in the game, we can hold them to 2 shots in the last 15 minutes. Jin Remy says need Stars in the plus 140, plus 145 range. In fact, I didn't come in thinking I was going to bet the Lightning. But I was pleasantly surprised at the price I was getting on the Lightning after what they did in Game 2. Because of that, I was like, oh, wow, you're going to give me a plus line on the -1? Then I'll take it. So it was -150 on the money line and plus 170 on the puck line. Let's just see what it is right now. Quickly here. -155 and plus 170. Ulysses Hayes is on Lightning money line. Glenn Elliott, man, Stars Lightning goes to OT. Spenny Pennybomb said I had Tampa last game -1 and in regulation could work. I was thinking Dallas, but I think you guys might be right with Tampa smelling blood in the water. This is John Garcia. I don't believe in. It's been a long-standing curse not to touch the Prince of Wales trophy. Does it still call it that? If you win the Eastern Conference, but I don't think that's a big deal. We've seen teams touch the trophy and go win the Stanley Cup. Bright Ware says love the Stars here. I think the Lightning have not only satisfaction, but I think what Gokes is saying is right. They smell blood in the water. Now, I expect the Lightning to win, and I can understand people making moves on the under. I'm not going to take this under at 5. But let's say the Lightning win 4-1 with an empty netter. Then you're going to get the price that you need for the Dallas Stars in Game 4. And the Dallas Stars have fought back. And me taking the Lightning in Game 3 is not saying, oh, I think Lightning are going to dominate the rest of the series. I just think that gave them a lot of energy for Game 3 after what they did to the Stars late and how they took their foot off the gas in the second period. The Stars started cutting into that lead, and then they shut the Stars down. And you're missing Como and Faxa, who are very important in this series. Lightning -1 at plus money is what I'm on. Lightning -1 at plus money, and I like it. Dylan Turner cashed on Vasilevsky saves under last game. Stars don't get a lot of shots. I was shocked to see them do nothing in that second period. And the Stars bounce back. And if this goes according to my belief, I might take the Stars in game 4. But here I think there's too much value on the Lightning -1 at plus money. There you have it. All 15 MLB games capped. East Finals and NBA capped, and Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals capped. Gerald Martinez says, what do you think of regulation line, Jimmy? I prefer the -1 because I prefer to get a push in overtime. If I just my own preference. Whatever you prefer. If you like regulation, make those bets. I like the -1. I enjoy it. John Garcia says Stars have more goals in this series. Something changed. When the Stars needed to push, they couldn't push. Why was that? Because you can't trust Seguin and Ben. And are they hurting? Is Rupians hurting? Are the Dallas Stars dealing with some injuries they're not talking about? Glenn Elliott, man, long bomb of the night. Whitecaps plus 1,200. Okay, there you go. So let's review the entire card one last time. Oh, and by the way, in NHL, I've been treading lightly since I got the plus units. So it's been a battle this year. Unlike any other year I can remember, my ROI plus 0.16%, units plus 0.44, and average line plus 121. And that is where we stand right now, up 0.44 units. Okay, here we go. This is my action in MLB, NBA, and NHL. In MLB, I start with a double up on the Cincinnati Reds. First 5 -1/2, full game -1. Bauer, crazy enough to make 3 days rest work. He's been asking to do it all year, and this is a fade of Adrian Hauser. Let's get A. Hilly's college football plays up there. Mike Benson, thank you. Very, very kind words. I love it. Thank you. It's so enjoyable to cap with you guys every day. I look so forward to it. Very kind words from our Mike Benson. Makes my work shift more bearable. Much love, Mikey. Thank you. All right, and then we have the double up on the Reds. The Cubs team total over is not up in my book, but that's something that Nolly took. He got 4.5 at -120. I'd be curious to see what I'd get. I'm on the Braves -1. I think their offense keeps rolling. And Sixto, we'll see if Sixto bounces back. Orioles, Red Sox, first 5 under, 5 at -120. I like that bet a lot. Cardinals, Royals over 9. I'm now very concerned. Bleds W says, when will Loshak be back? We've got to book it. We've got to put it together because it was a lot of fun having him. A's, Dodgers, first 5 under 5. I did not pull the trigger on the A's plus 135, but I'll see where that market moves. And that's my MLB card. In NBA, I'm on the first quarter under 52.5 Celtics Heat. I'll be watching the game very, very closely. And then Lightning, Stars. I'm on the Lightning -1 at plus money. All right, and Glenn Elliman says pouring in Seattle, roof closed. Thank you guys so much for rolling with me today, and Nolly Knows. Thank you to our special guest, Nolly Knows. But we have nothing without these great cappers in the chat. Thank you guys. Shout out to Nilo, Glenn Elliott, man, MMA Locker Room, Stu Boo, MMA Locker Room, Bieber over 8.5 Ks, and he's got 8 or more in every start all year long. Spenny Penny Bombs, Bleds W, Dylan Turner, Jason Falk, Jin Rummy, Nas Lee, Dean Eden. Dean Eden says, guys from Victoria, he deserves it. Yes, I do constantly crap on Jimmy Ben, and he'll have the last laugh if he's holding the Stanley Cup over his head. A. Hilly, Mike Benson, Ulysses Hayes, Mr. Goats. Ulysses Hayes, have an incredible time in Atlantic City, my man. Enjoy it. Get paid in full. I know you will. Ravi Patel, Steven Glass, Heat plus 133 for Steven. Vaughn Polo, razor sharp picks leaning towards the under in NHL. Gerald Martinez, Bright Ware. Johnny K. John Garcia, Sportsman of the Year. Nate Schellhammer. Spencer Burns. Thank you guys for joining us. Rude Jude. Seeing Celtics first quarter under 53. Rude Jude seeing. See what I'm getting right now if I wanted that first quarter again. Holy shit. It's 53 and a half. Oh, it scares the shit out of me. All right. Very disheartening. Might have. I didn't need a show like that. Thank you, Ravi. Blackthorn King, my man. Stephen Glass says, give me the stars. Jason Folk says, Cincy, baby, Cincy. Lecce. Halos Bookmakers. See you guys tomorrow. Don't forget about our NCAA football show tonight.